stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. To those guests who've just joined us, welcome. Our next stop is the Magic Kingdom. For those of you standing, please hold on to the handrails throughout our journey and stay clear of the doors. Stay clear of the doors. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our station at the entrance to Main Street, USA.
Dreamers, welcome aboard the Morning Monorail podcast. This is Justin Monorail, and this is episode number 163 of the Morning Monorail. Today's July 12th, 2021, and you need to know that date. Why? Because we talk about news, and when we talk about news, like if you're listening some point in the future, you're like, why are they talking about these places reopening? They've been open for years. Well, it's because we live in the past, ladies and gentlemen. You are living in the future, and you have the luxury of time and, you know, how they say hindsight 2020. Whatever. But you know who has foresight 2020? That's my friend and yours, Landon Doan, and we're going to welcome him to the show right now. Landon, welcome back to the Morning Monorail.
Hi, everybody. Coming to you from the isolation station of love. It's me. It's Landon. How's everybody doing today?
I'm waiting for them to respond.
Yeah, I don't know why I ask open-ended questions on a podcast. I really hope you didn't just answer out loud, like if you're on your train, maybe a monorail to work. It's like, I'm fine, Landon. Thanks for asking. And everybody around is like, okay, I want to switch seats.
See, I think that we could start a whole new brand of podcast where it is more like call and response, where we ask questions, you answer. We're not going to hear it, but like you get the satisfaction of feeling like you're having an active conversation with us. I mean,
I like it.
People may enjoy it. I don't know.
People around you probably won't enjoy it, but people listening may enjoy it. Yes.
So it is Monday morning for those of you listening as this show drops. So are you headed to work? What have you got planned for the day? That sounds great. Mm-hmm. Wait, this is becoming like an episode of Dora the Explorer.
Backpack.
Can you say quinceañera? That came to mind yesterday because I saw this whole group of folks at Animal Kingdom, and they were, I guess, celebrating a lucky little girl's quinceañera, and they all had, I guess, different roles to play as part of that celebration. So they had like title and then like of the quinceañera, and like one of them was tia of the quinceañera, and I think that means like aunt. I don't know. I don't speak Spanish.
I only took 2.5 years of Spanish, and I don't know.
One of them was for sure. One of them was abuela, and I know that's grandmother. Mm-hmm. Grandmother of the quinceañera. Does that mean that she's like, it's like the godfather of chicken nugget, like you? Is she somehow responsible for the whole idea of a quinceañera? That's
well,
impressive.
I guess without her, way back in the day, there would be no quinceañera if you know she didn't make some decisions.
That's a good point. So I'm going with it. I think that's a good answer.
I hope that group had a wonderful quinceañera.
I do too, and I think
that
they
was
did.
The AK yesterday.
It was beautiful. It was busy, but it was beautiful. Busy but beautiful. Good. Yeah. This was the biggest crowd I've seen at Animal Kingdom in 19, 20 months. I mean, honestly, since pre-COVID, it was a busy day in the Animal Kingdom. The wait for Flight of Passage got up to like 150 minutes at one point, I think.
Oh,
yeah, that's old school Animal Kingdom, my friends.
Wow, yeah, that's a big old negative right there, Ghost Rider.
Yeah, so we did not.
No, I'm guessing you didn't.
We did not. We did a lot of cool things, but we didn't do Flight of Passage. We did go to Satuli for lunch, and the kids have always done the steamed burger pod thing at Satuli. I did it for the first time just for myself yesterday. I don't know why. I was feeling a little wild and wacky. So I did it. And I got to tell you, it's good, but I mean, they're in bao buns. That's what they are, essentially. They're bao buns with, it's like ground up cheeseburger in there. And I just think it's a lot of dough for me. It's a little doughy.
Mm.
If it was a little less doughy, I think I'd like it more. But it just felt like I was eating a lot of dough. I wasn't getting a lot of meat and cheeseburger for the, like, bang for the buck, in my opinion. But I know the kids love it. One interesting thing, we had a very picky member of our party with us yesterday who didn't want anything on the Satuli Canteen menu. They do have a kids menu, and you can get a cheese quesadilla. So,
well, that's good to know because I too am a picky eater. And looking over that menu, I mean, the time me and Frank were down and we went to Satuli, looking over that menu for a picky eater can be a little trying, so to speak.
Yes. I think that, it can be a bit intimidating. When you break it down, you can get to the point where you're ordering like potatoes with meat. You can really get like a meat and potatoes meal if you don't go with like the noodles or, something else. Or although the noodles shouldn't be that intimidating, but I know that like, especially if you look at it prepared, it looks, I don't know, like it came from the planet of Pandora. So the looks of it maybe are a little intimidating, but I do believe that if you break it into its component pieces, it's not that intimidating.
Though I will say, speaking of the noodles, as somebody who is onion opposed, noodles not an option, I found out.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all that stuff. It's very spice heavy, I'll say. And
I'm fine with spice, but onions, no thank you.
Yeah,
no
there's
bueno.
onions in there.
Because onions are disgusting.
Yeah, but it was good. I mean, for me, Satuli always delivers. It's a place that I feel like you can really enjoy a unique quick service experience, and it's just not something that you always get in a theme park.
That's true.
And you can mobile order.
Yay! Now,
key.
I am anti-onion, but I am pro-mobile order.
Yeah. Mobile order is so clutch.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to say, it was a busy day yesterday. We decided, because we're brilliant, that we were going to eat at noon, which is key lunchtime. And but we had not ordered yet. So the wait to pick a mobile order arrival window, it was about 45 to 50 minutes. So we had talked about this before, and I thought it was a good follow-up, because this was like a pretty busy day in Animal Kingdom. Just understanding, if you want to eat like specifically at noon, then it's probably a good idea to check those arrival windows around like 11:15 at a popular location like Satuli Canteen. So that would be my recommendation.
Nailed it.
Yeah. I had given a great recommendation of that Raya and the Last Dragon ice cream from the Anandapur ice cream truck over in Asia. If you're on the Facebook, you would have seen a video review of that ice cream, and you also would have seen maybe an unfortunate angle of me while I ate the ice cream.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sad to report that the Raya ice cream is gone.
What? Aw,
it's gone.
See, I was kind of worried about that because it's tied specifically to a certain movie, and the movie was being pushed heavily when this debuted. I was hoping they would just like rename it something, but it's gone,
because now it's been replaced. They've got a standee up in front of the ice cream truck, and now it's been replaced by a Yeti sundae. Yeah, and it looks cool. There's no cone this time to contend with. It just comes in a cup. And it's more chocolate based. I'm trying to see if I can get to the it's chocolate ice cream on the bottom, vanilla on top to give it a snow covered look. It has like a little chocolate piece in there, and there's some sprinkles. It's got like a blue. It's got like some blue sugar sprinkles and stuff on it. It looks good. I didn't try it yesterday because I was a little sad, to be honest, that the Raya ice cream was gone. It was delicious.
Yeah, that's disappointing. It was such a very unique looking dessert, and you just said it apparently was a very good dessert too. Yeah. So, and to replace it with just a sundae, okay, yeah, it's Yeti themed. But what you just described, it's just a plain old sundae.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's a bad move on Disney's part.
Well, hopefully they bring back something with a little more
Hashtag bring back the Raya ice cream cone.
Yeah, uniqueness to it. I mean, I love the Yeti.
I mean, I do too. Disco Yeti, that's my dude. But if you're going to name something after the Yeti from Expedition Everest, if you're going to align something with one of the most iconic animatronics in all of Walt Disney World and Disneyland for that matter, even though it's not over there, it's just that iconic. And you give it a sundae?
Yeah.
It's like chocolate ice cream, vanilla ice cream, sprinkles, and a chocolate piece. You know where I can go and get that? Literally every ice cream shop in the world. Like, that doesn't say anything special to me. It's like, oh, we're gonna put Yeti on the tagline, and you're gonna pay $14.95 for it because it says Yeti.
And it's kind of like Instagrammable. It looks pretty, but... And then you can sing Sunday, Yeti, Sunday. If you want.
That's terrible.
I'm trying over here. Well, that was a sad piece of news from Animal Kingdom yesterday. I have a happy piece of news, and that was I was actually able to return to a celebration of the Festival of the Lion King. I successfully got to see the show yesterday.
Woo!
That was really that was a happy time. And let me tell you, it was made even better because knowing what we know from firsthand experience, Landon, when we were there with Frank, I decided we know we're going to have to wait in line for an hour, probably, because we're going to have to, if we want to go to the 11:30 show, we're going to need to line up prior to the 10:30 show and get in the back of that line. So what we did was we went over to Tamu Tamu. We got some African coffees, which are adult coffees. This is the place where you can get the Dole Whip in Animal Kingdom that Jen from Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz refuses to even acknowledge. But you can. You can get Dole Whip there. You can get Dole Whip with rum. So I don't know why you ignore that.
Seriously, that sounds like something you shouldn't ignore.
Right? But we decided to go with the African coffees because it was early. You know, we're not trying to be luscious, but you know, a little extra magic in a coffee is not a bad thing.
Yep.
So
get your day started right.
Yeah. So Sam and I both got the African coffee. We head over to a Festival of the Lion King theater, and knowing we can't take the drinks inside, we're like, oh, we got drinks. We'll, hopefully we'll be in the shade. We'll get to relax, enjoy a little coffee. We were walking over there, and the cast members start saying, you'll have to finish your drinks before you go in the theater. We're like, yeah, no big deal. It's going to be an hour. No, they walked us right into the theater. I don't know how this happened. It was honestly like 10:29 when we walked over. We walked right in. We may have been two of the last people to get in. They sat.
Oh my God.
When we sat down, the show started. It was like they were waiting for us.
Wow. That is night and day.
I know.
Oh, wow.
I know. It was a full, by the way, they are packing the theater. There's no more social distancing. So the theater was packed. Wow. But they did, and we were in the back, but we got a seat. We were in there.
I mean, the fact that you literally walked on.
Yeah, we walked on. No wait. Wow. Zero wait. So what we did was Sam had a travel water, like a blender bottle, and we just dumped both of them into the blender bottle. Because we didn't want to. We literally had zero of our African coffee. So,
yeah. We don't want to waste that.
So we dumped them in there. Went to Festival of the Lion King, and let me just tell you, it was so good to be back. It choked me up just even being in a theater. Sam pointed out when the hosts, there's like 4 hosts that come out and they introduce themselves. She's like, "Oh, it's the same ones," and that that kind of got to me because I was like, "Oh, it's so good to see them again." And the show is a little different. There's some modifications, like there's no tumbling monkeys. So there's a bit of an awkward moment where Timon is supposed to be going up on the stage and like contending with the tumbling monkeys because they're, chaos.
They're monkeying around.
They're monkeying around up there. So he's like, I guess, telling the people that are standing around the stage to calm down and be quiet. That was kind of strange. Also, if you remember,
so they borrowed a line from Marvel's Captain Marvel, where everybody's like, "You really need to keep your emotions in check, Carol," and she's like, "What?"
Yeah, it's a little odd. But like then, if you remember, there's 2 performers that come out and do like a kind of a ballet thing, and then one of them gets hooked up to a like on a harness to a line, and she flies around the room like a bird. She's dressed as like a bird. They don't do the flying part; they just come out and do a little dance. And then the other thing I noticed is they don't give each section a name. Like there's no, you're the elephants, you're the warthogs, you're the giraffes. They don't do that anymore. They just do like 2 sections get to, during the big finale, 2 sections do like a clap, and then 2 sections wave their hands in the air, and then they decide who did it best at the end. So
interesting. I mean, saying they eliminated the monkeys, maybe it was a staffing issue. Saying they eliminated the swinging around the arena, maybe again that was a staffing issue. They couldn't get the stunt coordinator back. Okay, I can kind of get that. Why would you eliminate all right, you're the lions and you're the warthogs.
Let's hear a roar.
Yeah, like, why get rid of that?
Well, the only thing I can figure is, part of that was they did this joke where they would have someone do like, okay, you guys are the lions. We're going to have this guy from Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, come down and
do a
lead
lion.
us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they don't do that. And they used to bring people up from the crowd to do the parade, too. Of course, they don't do that anymore either. So there's some changes, but it's still such a good show. Beautiful music, beautiful choreography, the lighting, the sound, like it's just so good, and it was good to be back for sure.
That's awesome. I am curious what the wait to get into that show was. I mean, for you and Sam, you were able to just practically walk on, but I am curious what the wait was, because that might be some knowledge that would be good to have in the future.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I honestly think that, so it was the first show of the day. The 10:30 one was the first show of the day. I think that it just makes a difference that it was the first show. People were probably doing other things like waiting in line for Flight of Passage. And B, that now that there's no social distancing in the theater, it can hold a lot more people. So
I'm trying to pull up the My Disney app and see if it, like right now live while we're recording, I can find a posted wait time for it.
Well, I don't think it gives you a wait time. It just shows you show times.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's because it's a show, not a ride. But I am curious because I don't want people to hear this and be like, "Oh, cool! You could just get there 5 minutes before showtime and expect to get into that show."
No, I still recommend going early. This was definitely a fluke. I mean, like I said, we were the last two people to get in, and we arrived at 10:30.
I do think going to the first show of the day probably did help in that situation because I think that's a good point. People were probably doing other stuff because the park had just relatively opened at that point.
Yeah, that might be a good tip. I don't know if that's something that could help people. If you do want to see that show, maybe try to go to the first one. And it'll be easier to get in. I still recommend at least getting 30 to 45 minutes early. Get in line, and then hopefully you get in and it won't be an issue. But yeah, it was good to be back.
That's awesome. Glad to hear y'all were able to get in.
Yeah, and the last thing I wanted to mention from yesterday, so we were there celebrating Chicken Nugget's 16th birthday, although, granted, 9 days after he had actually turned 16. But
as we already established, if you're born on the first of a month, you get the entire month to celebrate your birthday. So.
Yeah, that's true. But we did bring a couple of his friends along, and they were kind of off doing their own thing. And so at one point, Sam said, "Oh, I've got there's a friend of mine that's over at Hollywood Studios. I'm going to run over there and say hi." And then we had planned to hop over to Epcot for the evening, so she was just going to meet us back over there. So I decided, well, while you're doing that, I'm going to make the most of this time and see if I can do like a Everest single rider marathon and see like what kind of a personal record I can set today.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The number was 1.
What? That's not much of a record, Jay.
So I waited about 20 minutes in the single rider line to get on. They put me in the front car, and if you heard us talk about this before, the front car tends to be a little more intense, in my opinion, when you go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So I was feeling a little motion sick. So after I got off, also if you're on the Discord, you got TMI, but this is something I was talking about. For whatever reason, yesterday I was visiting a lot of Animal Kingdom bathrooms. So
yeah, like 6 at one point.
Yeah, the number probably got higher than that, but
yikes!
Reported 6. I mean, it could have had something to do with the cocktail contest from the night before. I don't know. We'll see. So I had to take another bathroom break, and then I was like, well, I guess I'll go get in line again and try to get this really going. And then as soon as I started to get back in the single rider line, I get a text from Chicken Nugget, and he says, "Hey, we're ready to go over to Epcot." I was like,
all right, cool.
Okay.
Record of 1.
So the number is 1. Yeah. We'll try again.
Well, I'm glad you set a record, but you also set a record that is
Attainable,
within
breakable.
breaking distance.
Breakable. I can top it next time. Maybe that's what I do. Next time I go back, I aim for 2. And then, just keep increasing from there. I don't think I'll ever reach Lewis at Disney Pick a Day on Twitter. His record is like 59, I think, in one day.
That's insane. That is insane.
That will never be my number.
No. That's literally probably all he did that day.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
So, but, wait time for Everest was around 45 minutes, I think. So it cut the wait in half to do single rider. If you don't want to split your party up, don't do it, because they definitely will split your party up and you may not even be on the same train. But if you want a shorter wait, single rider is pretty viable, and I'm glad that's back too. That's nice.
Mm-hmm. I do like the fact that the single rider aspect is there, because as we've talked previously on podcasts, when I went down, there were some attractions that didn't have single rider going, and it made the ride totally not worth it, in my opinion. Millennium Falcon, I'm looking at you.
Yeah. So that was the big recap from yesterday. We actually ended up not sticking around for Epcot Forever last night. But if you are on the Patreon, then you know that the week before, was it Monday? I guess it was Monday. We had gone to Epcot, and I videoed Epcot Forever exclusively for the Patreons, for our patrons. And that video is available if you're a silver or gold member. You can see it on the Morning Monorail Patreon website. That's patreon.com/Morning Monorail. Join up, because not only can you get access to our Discord where we're chatting all week long, and I'm giving you all updates like I went to the bathroom 6 times at Animal Kingdom, but you also get access to all the content that we're posting on the Patreon page, and there's a lot of fun stuff.
That doesn't revolve around Jay's visits to the bathroom. I mean, that's there too, if that's what you want to get, but there's other non-bathroom related content at patreon.com/morning.
A little. It's like 70-30, like bathroom content, and then 30% like other miscellanea. But we did get a new joiner over this last week, and I want to give specifically... this is awesome, because usually we've had multiple in a week. We just had one this past week, so you get your very own shout out. Allison Quinn, welcome.
Woo, Allison, my favorite member of the Monorail family.
Yeah, Morning Monorail Patreon. And by the way, that's funny you mentioned that, because we've got a channel on the Discord where people can request merchandise, like logos, things for shirts, different things. One of the things that is demanded is I guess, how would we word it? Is it going to be, I'm the favorite member of the Monorail family?
Yeah, I think that would be the best option to go. I know some people, they want like the blank is the favorite member of the Monorail family. It's like, I think at that point, just I am the favorite member of the Morning Monorail family. And I love the fact that that's being demanded. Yeah. That is a fun channel to be in. Some very good ideas come from that channel.
There are good ideas. But I am being challenged because I don't have any logo design or graphic design abilities. Mm-hmm. So if you're out there and you're cheap,
we have ideas. We just don't know how to do them.
We need help.
There's a Nomad Lounge idea that I came up with that I think is very cool.
Yes.
We cannot pull it off.
Can't do it.
No, not at all.
But we'll figure it out at some point. But I did reference this, and this was something that this was open to everybody, not just Patreon members, but we did conclude the Morning Monorail Cocktail Challenge over the weekend. Friday night, we actually held the finals. There were 3 finalists for the morning beverage and the evening beverage. We made them all.
Yeah, we did.
We made them all. We tried them all.
Yeah,
Good times were had by all, and 2 winners were declared. Landon, what were your big takeaways from the cocktail contest?
Alcohol's expensive, and doing dishes is a pain.
Yeah, those are good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Those were big takeaways.
But also, we got a lot of really good submissions, and of all six were very strong drinks. And I don't mean just because I was heavy with the pour. They were all very good, very tasty in different ways, and Thank you to everybody that submitted a recipe, and maybe we'll do it again in a couple years when Jay and I financially recover from having to buy all that food.
That's right. Yeah, I know. And, not only did we have to invest all that, but the 2 winners are also getting $50 gift cards to the Disney $50 Disney gift cards. I was going to say to the Disney store, but first of all, do Disney stores even exist?
No, they don't. So unfortunately, you're a winner, but you don't get anything. It's like you win Mickey bucks.
Yeah. But they will be getting $50 Disney gift cards. And those winners were, for the morning beverage, it was our friend Kevin Dix. And he had submitted a coffee cocktail called the Morning Monorail Mocha, which we found to be very delightful. And
very good.
You put coffee in anything, I'm probably going to be down. So that was like I was a bit biased on the coffee drink, but it was great.
And we found it was very similar to a Tipsy Duck in Love, even though it didn't have the bourbon in it that the Tipsy Duck does. It had a very similar taste.
It did. I think so too. And I think you add a little bourbon in that thing, you're 90% of the way to a Tipsy Duck, I think. So,
which I'm going to maybe possibly do in the future. And it was rimmed with Nutella, and I was still getting Nutella out of my beard yesterday.
That's right.
It's like, this is a tasty snack. Later in the day, it's like, okay, this really hurts. I need to clean myself.
Hey, if you're saying that on a Saturday morning, it means you had a good Friday night. That's all I want to say.
Oh my.
Oh my. And then our evening cocktail winner was Lexi, who had submitted something she named One Little Sparkler. And it was made with Prosecco, and it had all these different liquors in it that I had never even heard of.
Yep.
Including Creme de Violet. And
now say it like a redneck.
Creme de Violet.
Yeah.
It was very good, surprisingly just delicious and refreshing, and it came out of nowhere.
I think that was something I actually said on the broadcast on Friday, because as we were mixing these, it's like, this is going to be good, but I don't think I would have tabbed that as my winner until I had it. It's like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Yeah. So,
but again, like, all 6 drinks were very good.
Yes, they were. And thank you to those that submitted. So Tracy, I don't know if she officially goes by Theme Park Wifey, but that's Theme Park Rob's wife. Tracy submitted one. We got one from our friend Donna, of course, who submitted another morning. Kevin Muha submitted an evening cocktail, and then of course Skipper Bob did.
Skipper Bob, of course, we had to get our I'm the official drunk of the Morning Monorail podcast, but Skipper Bob is my understudy.
That's true, yeah. And then coming in third, Cocktail Bob, bringing up the rear.
Yeah, he's our understudy's understudy.
We have a strong drinking team. It's true.
We really do. Like, if there's ever a Diz Twitter drinking contest, y'all suckers are in trouble.
Oh, we are taking home the cup.
No, I don't know if Skipper Bob would represent us or the Cretans Guild.
Well, that's true, because I bet they've got a pretty strong drinking team too. If it's specifically a Disney drinking team contest, then I think we got him.
That is true. Yeah.
But if it's like a podcast in general drinking challenge, I think that he'd probably go Cretans Guild. I mean, I get it. You got to represent the brand.
Understood. So, but yeah, even then, if I'm on the team, I feel confident in our chances.
I will be an understudy to the drinking team because I'm not on that level.
You'll be the team manager.
I can be the team manager. I could do that. I'll provide waters and make sure nobody passes out or gets alcohol poisoning.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, you got to have one. I'll be that. I'll be
you really
that
do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think at this point, we got to move on to the news. I had a couple notes about Epcot. I might weave them in as we go here through some of the news that we've got, but we definitely should start hitting those headlines because it's already 30 minutes into the show today.
Yeah, about par for the course.
Yeah.
Actually, if it's only 30 minutes, we're doing really good.
Yeah. Well, I think we get to news usually about 10 minutes in. But, you know, it depends on the day. But we're going to hit it now. A lot of big things. Some of these things are more like just informational updates, but there's a big one at the end that we're probably going to dig into. So we'll see how it goes. Number one, we've got some resort reopening dates. I know there are people out there who have been dying to know, when is Disney going to announce that Port Orleans Riverside and Port Orleans French Quarter are coming back? Both have been announced. Riverside will be back October 14th, and Port Orleans French Quarter arrivals beginning October 28th, 2021. So I know that Port Orleans French Quarter is a favorite for some people, our friend Jeffers included. Fantastic news. Beignets are back, baby. You know, all good stuff. And
a lot of alliteration there. I like that.
Yeah. And then additionally, All-Star Resort will be bringing back music and sports. All-Star Music will open up September 16th, and then sports December 9th. I was trying to think about this because the next thing we're going to talk about is a little refurbishment at the All-Star Movies Resort. And I was like, why would they not open up the music and sports resorts while they're doing the refurb over at movies? All of this, it just, everything comes down to staffing, I think, at this point. Like, I know Disney's still struggling to get, appropriate staffing in to get back to where they were pre-COVID. But don't you think that's probably what's holding it up?
I mean, that has to be it. And I was kind of surprised, with the exception of All-Star Music, all of these are opening after the October 1st kickoff for the 50th anniversary. Yeah. I'm not surprised to hear these are all reopening. I'm stunned that, with the exception of All-Star Music, they're all coming back after that time where they know they are going to be inundated with guests. I mean, in the case of both of the Port Orleans resorts, it's still within that window. I mean, it's a couple weeks after the first, but still, I would have put money. It's like they are going to be ready to rock on September 31st, October 1st. People can check in and go nuts because they know they're going to have capacity down there. And it really... I mean, you mentioned the All-Star Resort renovations. I believe, is it just the lobby that's getting?
Yes. Just the lobby.
I mean, they'll still be able to operate. Yeah. But it doesn't make sense that they are waiting, and it has to be a staffing issue. That's it. So. Now that you mentioned that has to be it. Yeah,
it's staffing and training. They got to get all these people back in. I know and you're not just talking about, you got to think about the people that are, work in the front desk, people that work in the the cafeterias, people that that the housekeeping staff, the lifeguards, all the support staff, the maintenance people. It's a huge undertaking to staff up for a resort reopening, and and I think the other thing too is just making sure they're all in good shape and ready to go, because they have been sitting empty for a while.
Yeah, it has been a hot minute since those resorts have seen guests. And speaking of All-Star Movies, they did confirm that the food court will be staying open during the refurbishment. So
yeah, I know. So I specifically wanted to talk about this because you stayed and Frank stayed at All-Star Movies when you guys came down recently, and I visited. And as part of that, I got a little preview into what the cafeteria, the food court, the food court. And the gift shop kind of looked like. In my opinion, the thing that needed refurbishment from the All-Star Movies Resort is the food court.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to hear it was the lobby getting the renovations, because, I mean, the lobby was fine. It was functional. It was big and open. They had the velvet ropes that you could stand in if you needed to go talk to somebody at the front desk. They had several stations at the front desk, so they were able to handle a lot of people as they came through. If you don't need to worry about that, you can just avoid it all, walk through the lobby. The food court is kind of just it's fine. And I even think we've talked about this in the podcast. Having carpet on a food court just seems like a really bad idea, especially when you're going to have a bunch of little ones who might knock over their plate of sketty into the floor, or knock their Coke into the floor, because that carpet is going to absorb all of that. Yeah, like if any of these things, and the gift shop, it was fine. Maybe they could have made it a little bit bigger, because every time I had to go into the gift shop, it was busy. And I remember one time I went in there to get some Band-Aids. The line was practically all the way out the store.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now, maybe I hit during peak hours, but maybe they need to expand it a little bit. But then again, where do you go if you're going to expand it? Well, maybe you expand into the food court, but then we just talked about how the food court really needs the renovation, so they land on the lobby. Okay.
I have a suggestion. Why not expand the gift shop into the lobby area, like the check-in area? Because now, through your My Disney Experience app, you can totally avoid the front desk when you check into a Disney resort anyway. I mean, I know there are going to be people who still want to do it, and they need to get their, maybe they need their card. They used to be called World Passports. I'm blanking on what they're calling the cards now, that are like basically surrogates for the Magic Bands. But some people are getting those at the front desk, or maybe you have issues. Who knows what it is? You still have to have a front desk. But again, 70-30 rule. 70% of the people could probably check into a room without going to the front desk.
Easily, yes.
Meaning that you could probably trim that size down a little bit, expand the gift shop. But that all this reinforces the point. If less people use the check-in than use the food court, and the food court is the thing that probably really needs a refurb, why did you pick the lobby? I don't know. I guess the other side of the argument, though, is like people are going to have to eat. What would you do while the food court was down?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, and there's not a whole lot around movies of a food option other than the food court. I mean, Are you really just going to push all your guests to be like, this hotel is brought to you by Uber Eats?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of options in walking distance, especially from All-Star Movies, because it's like the one that's the furthest back. Although you could attempt to walk to the Solar McDonald's if you wanted to. But yeah.
No. That sounds like the absolute worst thing to do at the end of the day after you've walked all over Magic Kingdom, maybe park hopped over to Epcot and walked around the world. You know what you want to do? Walk to a McDonald's and then walk back from a McDonald's. No, thank you.
Well, you walk off all those calories from those delicious, tasty fries. So it all evens out. Here's something else we need. Bring back the arcade. How about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was shut up while I was there, though the lights were still on, so it was like taunting me.
It's interesting too. It's a long refurb. July 12th through mid-October is a long refurb. Again, not finishing up before the 50th starts.
Mm-hmm. So kind of surprising, especially at that price point, because the All-Star movies are more on, or the All-Star resorts as a whole, they're on the more affordable side, and they're as Frank and I found out. They're really nice rooms, especially at that price point. So it's kind of surprising that the more affordable options some of them aren't going to be available for the 50th anniversary kickoff.
That's right. Strange decision making, Disney. But again, I do realize that, staffing, and not just staffing for the hotels, but like when you're going to do the refurbs, like there's only so many people that are going to do like the construction work and stuff too. So I'm sure it all plays into it. They're doing what they can, I guess. Now I would like to transition. I didn't have a good segue, but I would like to transition to a little discussion on some tasty treats.
We do like tasty treats here on the Morning Monorail.
Yes. In fact, it's one of our favorite subjects, especially space food. And
we call those spacey treats.
If you're making a Venn diagram of tasty treats and space treats, this is right in the middle. I guess it should have been Tasty's Treats and Star Wars. This goes right in the middle of those two circles.
I really think we're overthinking this Venn diagram that doesn't exist.
I just made it in the sky. Disney announced this week, Docking Bay 7. I mean, this is like, it's already started. Has some new options on the menu. According to the Disney Parks blog, Batuans and visitors to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge can sample Chef Strono Cookie Tug's delicious new dishes inspired by his time on Taco Donna. And the thing I'll say about that is, you would think, being inspired by his time on Taco Donna, it would have been tacos.
Yeah, like when you say Taco Donna, it's like, all right, we're getting space tacos.
Yeah, but no such luck on Taco Tuesday for Chef Strono Cookie Tugs. Instead, we're getting some new, actually really interesting options here at Galaxy's Edge in Docking Bay 7. The first one is a Batuan beef and crispy torpedo stir fry. Yeah, no. I mean, it's funny because I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it a little more obvious with the naming of these menu items, so you know what you're getting, but they still want it to sound a little bit spacey.
Mm-hmm. Well, I definitely think that they learned their lesson from when Docking Bay 7 first opened, because if you remember, they were like full blown into the gimmick. They're like, oh, what's a hamburger? We don't have but we have like Sarlakian bleep blort patty or something like that. Yeah. And it was like, what's a bleep blort patty? And it's like, okay, we're just going to call it a hamburger.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we got an example right here. This is somewhat redundant because when the menu first launched, Tip Yip was the surrogate for chicken. So if you ordered Tip Yip, you got chicken. Mm-hmm. Well, now you can order the Pirjanand hot chicken Tip Yip. Chicken Tip Yip.
So it's the Pirjandan hot chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But, by the way, I want to try this one so bad. The crispy chicken glazed in spicy chipotle sauce served with white rice, relish of sweet corn, shishito, that's a risky one.
Very careful, yeah.
Shishito peppers, jicama, plantains, and cilantro. I mean, to me, that sounds good.
Yeah, of all the 4 additions to this menu, that is the one that I want to try the most. So I'm right there with you. And I think it's funny that Nashville Hot Chicken has finally made it to Docking Bay 7.
That's right. It's in space.
To the moon.
There will be a roasted Endorian chicken salad for those of you who want a little healthier option. And also a pica tuna poke, which is just fun to say.
It is fun. And that too looks pretty good.
Yeah. I like poke, so I'll probably try that one too at some point. There will be a new dessert, too, called the Outpost Puff, which is a chocolate pastry filled with, oh boy, guajillo chocolate mousse and green milk sauce finished with Thai tea panna cotta. That sounds pretty good.
That really does sound good. Unfortunately, for one rider of the monorail, they will not be able to try it because it has spiced pineapple in it.
That's true. No, none for Sam.
Nope.
Over at Ronto Roasters, you already knew, if you were following along with the Morning Monorail on the socials, you knew that there was a meat-free option over at Ronto Roasters, which was it's a zucchini wrap, basically. You get grilled zucchini, smoky chickpea onion slaw, creamy garlic tahini sauce, and fresh cilantro wrapped in pita bread. I liked it, but for me, there's no way you substitute it for just a straight up Ronto wrap.
Yeah, like if you're going to Ronto Roasters and you don't get the Ronto wrap, what are you doing?
Well, you got people who are vegetarian and they still want to participate in space.
Okay, fine. I will ask that question to the vegetarians. Vegetarians, what are you doing?
They're just, doing their thing.
Nah, you do you. I'm just Georgian, as the kids say. And on top of that, there is a breakfast option, too, for the plant-based crew as well. So
that's right. Yeah, Triple Sun's breakfast wrap. Plant-based eggs, smoky chickpea onion slaw, and roasted tomato sauce in pita bread. You can also now get pork rinds.
Yeah, that's where my mind went. Yeah. My eye went immediately when I saw this menu. It's like, ooh, a nice walk-around snack.
Yes, Kirill pork rinds. Pork rind seasoned and savory blend of ancho chili, cheddar, smoke, and cinnamon. Yeah.
On board for that.
Yes, sir. And then Andoan fruit and I'm going to say it's muja sauce, because I have no indication that should be pronounced the Spanish
I am so
way.
Glad you're the one reading these ingredients.
Why do they have to do this to me? So you can get some fruit, but that also includes pineapple. So,
yep.
But it is plant based, so it's another one. I added this to our list to talk about because it raised quite a stir. As part of this announcement, they decided to tell us there were some updates over at Fairfax Fair, which is in Sunset Boulevard over in Hollywood Studios. If you've ever gone there and gotten a hot dog, I can tell you, to me, I think they're fine. I don't think it's great, but, if you're craving a hot dog, you're in Hollywood Studios, it's an option. They now are offering hot dog salad?
That doesn't exist. Shut up. A hot dog salad. Yes, I'm trying to watch my figure, eat healthier. I'm going to eat a salad, but I want hot dogs on it.
It is a plant-based hot dog salad, but even so,
Really? Once again, what are you doing?
What are you doing, Fairfax Fair?
What are you doing? Hot dog salads? No.
Yeah.
No.
If you're looking for good food, go to Galaxy's Edge. Or Woody's Lunchbox, because there's some good options.
Yeah, Woody's Lunchbox is awesome. I love that place.
Mm-hmm. So, hey, there's going to be a whole lot of delicious food coming soon to Epcot as of July 15th, which is this week. I didn't even realize that started this week. Holy crap. The Epcot International Food and Wine Festival is back.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. 20 festival-exclusive global marketplaces. Wow. And that includes, there are going to be, I think, 7 new ones? 7 new marketplaces. 7. The Noodle Exchange near Traveler's Cafe, the Tangerine Cafe Flavors of the Medina, the Rotunda Bistro, American Adventure Rotunda, the Swanky Sauce Swine.
That's a fantastic name. Yes. I hope they sell merchandise.
Near Disney Traders, the Brew Wing at Epcot Experience,
Ooh.
Lobster Landing near Mission Space, and Mac and Eats near Mission Space.
I really feel like Lobster Landing, that's going to end up being another shirt of me, Lobster Landing. And it's just a picture of me after I get sun poisoning because I forgot to put sunscreen on when I come down.
It's true. Yeah, I think we've already got that idea brewing. This year's Epcot Food and Wine Festival runs for 129 days through November 20th. So, yeah, July 15th through November 20th. Lots of time, which you're going to need all that time to try all this delicious food.
And on top of that, in addition to these 7, there are going to be even more opening on October 1st for the kickoff of the 50th anniversary, too. So this is probably going to end up being the biggest food and wine festival ever, right?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, and all the classics are back. There are going to be some good ones. I was excited to see that the Appleseed Orchard is indeed coming back, as we speculated. Yep. So you can go get your cider flight or beer flight. If you like, you can probably sample some maple syrup.
Though looking at the menu, I'm not seeing the charcuterie plate.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. You can get apple chips, apple crumble. I don't see the charcuterie. Maybe it'll be there. I don't know.
I really hope. I mean, I'm glad that Appleseed Orchard's coming back, but I'm gonna be a little bummed if that charcuterie plate is not an option.
It was very good. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty excited about the noodle exchange. Why? Because I have become addicted to pho. Might as well face it. I'm addicted to pho. I can't help it. There is a location just in front of my neighborhood that sells the most delicious Vietnamese food that I think I've ever had. And I don't know if they're putting something in it that's caused me to become addicted to it, but yes, the noodle exchange, this is going to be over there. Like if you know where the new Starbucks is, as you're going into World Showcase, it's going to be right across from it. They're going to have traditional spicy Vietnamese beef pho with shaved beef, enoki mushrooms, and Thai basil. Oh,
that sounds good.
Char siu pork udon with enoki mushrooms, shrimp and coconut curry rice noodles, and then tofu pho if you are a plant-based person. Yeah. I think I'm going to spend most of my time at the noodle exchange.
That's a strong menu.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to expand out from there, but the swanky sauce swine, I added this to our notes because I knew we were going to talk about it. That might entice me to come over. Why? Because they are going to have crispy barbecue pork rinds with pimento cheese. They're going to have roasted porchetta with pork fat, roasted rosemary potatoes, and lemon parsley salsa verde. They're going to have soy glazed sticky ribs.
Oh, yes.
With green onions and peanuts. And then they're going to have a crispy pig ear salad with fire-roasted tomatillo sauce. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever had... Well, pork rinds are pig ear, right? Are they?
I don't know about that.
I don't know if I've ever just had straight up pig ear. And I feel like...
Yeah, I don't think I can say I have either. So that'll be interesting, and it's in a salad form.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I should try it. We'll see.
I really feel like I might need to speak with my lawyer because I've had ex-girlfriends call me the swanky saucy swine before. And now Disney is stealing that. Identity theft is not a joke, Disney.
You should add that to your Twitter handle. Just Landaws - the swanky saucy swine.
Saucy swine.
Yeah. I feel it fits. I'd love to see it.
Yep.
If we're getting nicknames, that's a good one for you.
Very appropriate, too. Yeah. But As y'all know, I'm a fan of dim ribs over in Animal Kingdom, so I'm very curious to see how the soy glazed sticky ribs will match up to dim ribs.
Yeah, I imagine they're going to be a little more like the ribs that you could get at Kona. So there were sticky ribs there for a while, and now the sticky wings are back. I imagine these are going to be a little more like that, which is not a bad thing.
No, because I mean those soy wings were killer.
Yeah, they were very good. I mean, so many good options. Food and wine is such a happy time. And, of course, we're going to visit multiple times. We'll give you our recommendations. We'll be doing, I'll make some videos. We'll do some different ways of review. We'll talk about it on the podcast and different things. But certainly, if you're going, number one, I want to know what you're excited to try. You got to tell us. Let us know what you're excited about. If there's something that you'd like us to try specifically for you, because it's like, yeah, that sounds interesting. I don't know if I'd get it myself. Well, you know what? I'll take one for the team. Reach out to us at Morning Monorail on Twitter, Morning Monorail Family on Facebook. you can, send us a message or just talk to us on the socials and let us know. And I'm happy to do it for you because that's the kind of guy I am.
You're such a giver, Justin Monorail.
I know.
For the people and for the content.
I try to be. I'm excited Brazil's coming back. They've got like that real delicious Brazilian cheese bread. Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which, by the way, you can get at Skipper Canteen. I don't know if it's a limited time special, but they do have Brazilian cheese bread as an appetizer at Skipper Canteen, and it was so good. Yeah. Excited for Tangerine Cafe. I know this is opening like specifically for food and wine, but I'm excited that that's going to be back in some capacity. Greece is back. Hops and barley. Okay.
I thought Greece was the word.
Greece is the word, my friend.
Okay, all right.
The Rotunda Bistro. The wild mushroom truffle tart looks interesting to me, although I feel like I'm starting to kind of like gravitate away from things that are overly bready, as, maybe indicated by my bao bun review at Satuli Canteen. But the inside looks good, so plenty of good stuff. Of course, we've posted the food, the foodie guide on our Morning Monorail fam page. Go check it out. They've got a nice breakdown on www.magic.com as well. So
I'm going through it right now, and I'm like, I would try that. I would try that. I would drink that. I would drink that. Ooh, refreshment port. I'm always interested to see what type of poutine. Braised beef poutine. Yes, please, and thank you. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it looks so good.
So I want to wrap up today, now that we're really hungry and we're anxious to end the podcast so we can go eat something. I wanted to wrap up today with something that it doesn't directly affect Walt Disney World yet. But I do feel like this is one of these situations where you can say, where there's smoke, there's fire. There have been lots of indications that when FastPass comes back to Walt Disney World, it will be a modified system. Now, whether it's a full paid system or it's like a pay for extra system, or they do some sort of a differentiation for people who are like deluxe, resort guests or whatever it may be. There have been a lot of rumors all across Diz Twitter, the Disney media you can follow. Some of it's been a bit clickbaity because nothing has been announced for Walt Disney World yet, and so I want to say that very clearly up front before we say anything about this. But what I did was I found a good article from www.magic.com, and I wanted to just kind of talk about this article a little bit because I feel like they handled this in a good way, because they say on their website multiple times there's rumors, there's been some talk behind the scenes, but nothing's been confirmed, and we still don't really know what's going to be happening with FastPass at Walt Disney World. But you can kind of look at this new system that just got announced for Walt Disney World or Disneyland Paris, and take some little pieces of this and maybe start to piece together what we might be looking at in the future for Walt Disney World. So I wanted to tee this up, and then I just wanted to kind of chat about it with you, Landon, and just see what your thoughts are. So basically, what they announced for Disneyland Paris is something called Premier Access. It offers direct access to specific attractions at the next available time window for a price that will vary depending on demand. So they give a hypothetical example. If you were in Walt Disney World and you entered Hollywood Studios, you may be advised by the Disney Genie app that Rise of the Resistance is available at 9:30 a.m. for $10 per person. If it sounds good, you can make the purchase in the app, and then when the window comes up, you go directly over there. Now, if you don't want to spend that money, you don't have to, because the first option for people who don't want to pay is you can go regular standby, and then we're talking Disneyland Paris. The first option is you can go. I know I'm confusing it because I gave a Hollywood Studios example.
What we're saying is Rise of the Resistance is moving to Paris.
Yeah. So you can choose to just do standby, but keep in mind that, your standby experience will now probably be impacted by people who are going to be paying to get in these windows. You're going to have, essentially the same way a FastPass queue impacted standby. It slows it down a little bit. But you can definitely go do that. Now, if it's like a low demand time period, that's fine. It won't be a very big deal. Or another thing you can do is enter a virtual queue, which would be similar to the old Fast Pass situation, but what it would do instead is give you a time to come back in your app, so that you don't have to stand there in the queue. But your time is not going to be priority, where if you paid for it, then that's going to be like the priority windows. Yours is just going to be like sometime, probably like way later in the day. So now what they say in this article is, with Walt Disney World's typically longer length of stay per guest, we may see bundles and packages that offer a number of reservations per day for a fixed price. And that may be a little cheaper than like paying per ride. And then they may offer an allocation of paid passes for premium categories like Club 33 and then like I said, like deluxe resort guests and things like that. So really it's kind of like, think about the way Universal does it right now with Max Pass. Is that what? Mm-hmm. No, not Max Pass. Express Pass. Max Pass was at Disneyland, California. Express Pass. So Express Pass is something you pay if you want to do it, or you're staying at like their flagship resorts. You get it included, but you get access to their Express line for some paid amount, and that, I think it does change based on the time of the year. But you get it like all day, and you can use it unlimited. Or if you're like a premier annual pass holder like we are, you get it after 4:00, but you can only ride each ride through the Express line once after 4:00 each day. So there's this price for the whole thing. You get the whole shebang. Whereas the Disney option would be, you can do it as many times as you want for whatever rides you want. You just have to pay for it each time, or potentially maybe there's like some sort of a bundle. And then if you don't want to pay, there will still be standby, and or if it's really busy, maybe virtual queues, so you don't have to stand in standby for like 6 hours. So all that being said, we don't know anything. We have no indication yet of what's going to actually be happening at Disney. But Landon, I just kind of wanted your reaction to, let's say that this Premier Access comes to Walt Disney World in some form or another. What are your thoughts on that replacing FastPass?
If it just flat out replaced FastPass and undid the system that we do, or I guess did know at Walt Disney World, I'd be a little bit bummed, because if it does go strictly a la carte, that I think would be the worst option of the options you laid out. Because in my opinion, it's like the only ride I'm going to put money down to guarantee me a spot on at all four of the Disney parks, it's going to be Rise of the Resistance. And I think Disney realizes that. And I wouldn't be surprised if they tier some of these rides. And Rise of the Resistance might be the most expensive one, right up there with something like Flight of Passage. If they did end up going the route that Universal does, where you can buy the Express Pass, and it does vary when you're going, capacity that day, because the last time I went down to Universal, I went for just one day. So I knew I was only going to be in the park for that one day, and I wanted to ride all the rides that are my favorites. So I did pony up for the Express Pass. And I think the Express Pass cost almost as much as the day pass that I got to Universal. So this is not a cheap option. This is not an inexpensive answer. And I do understand those people that already had to, save their pennies and live on a tight budget so they could afford that once in a lifetime trip to Disney, that they want to, experience that Disney magic. I could understand the frustration, and I do understand the frustration on something like this. But again, if they do something that Universal's doing, and they also offer, if you're staying at this resort, you can get this package when it comes to fast passes. And it probably will be a situation where and these are all just hypothetical numbers. If you're staying at a budget resort, you get 5. If you're staying at a moderate, you get 10. If you're staying at a deluxe, you get 15 or something like that. And then they give you the option, you can buy extra at that point. You can then go a la carte. Maybe that could work, but if they go strictly a la carte fast passes, I think that is the worst option laid out. Would I prefer if they just went back to the regular fast pass system that we knew? I would. But at the same time, I don't think this is going to be an end of the world situation that some people on the internet have made it out to be. And I do think some of that initial reaction was because some of the headlines put out there were kind of clickbaity. The first headline I saw, it's like, oh, holy crap, wow. And then I actually went and read the article, and they explained what was going on. It's like, oh, okay, all right. It's not as bad as the headline made it out to be. So this is a piece of advice I would give to everybody, not just in the Disney bubble, Diz Twitter. Don't go by the headline. Read the article that accompanies this sensationalist, apocalyptic, the sky is falling headline before you jump to conclusions.
Yeah, totally agree. You're absolutely right. I think you got to get several different news organizations to supply you with the information that you're basing your opinions on, and then just take some time to read it, consider the source, and then form your opinion based on that. But I do think that based on if we're kind of reading the tea leaves and seeing the way that Disney's gone, especially in the post-pandemic world, I think it's very likely, and I've said it before, that when FastPass comes back to Walt Disney World, it will be modified, and there will most likely be some sort of a paid option. Whether that be you get to pay for...
And I also...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. We had some lag, so I thought there was a pause. I apologize. And I do think we're going to see a lot of that tied to the resort you're staying at, because we already saw it this week. You have to be staying at certain resorts to take part in the
evening hours.
Yeah, in the evening hours, and even in some cases the early morning hours. Because when I'm going down in October, I'm staying at the Swan. The Swan is not participating in any of the morning or evening extra magic hours. So I do think we are going to see more perks tied to what resort you're staying to. And like we kind of talked about last week, if you're paying the extra dollars to stay at like the Poly or something like that, I really don't hate the idea of you getting extra perks, because you're already paying a fortune for a bed at the end of the day.
Yeah. I'm on board with what you're saying. Part of me, I see pros and cons to if the system ended up going exactly as what WDW Magic has described here, in that you can a la carte choose rides for some, variable price point based on demand, how busy it is, that sort of thing. I could see that being a positive for some people, because if you're someone who gets to travel to Disney only once every 10 years or once in a lifetime or whatever that may be, and that part of what's going to make that trip for you is being able to actually successfully ride Rise of the Resistance, you can absolutely guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. You're going to pay for that guarantee, but you can absolutely guarantee it.
Yeah, and you can pick and say, I know for sure at Hollywood Studios I want to ride Rise. And when I go over to Magic Kingdom, I really want to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I don't know why you'd pay for it, but maybe you will. Yeah. Or Epcot, I want to ride Test Track or Frozen, or, you pick one or two rides in each place, and maybe it's worth it to you, because a lot of times the decisions you make with your money at Disney, it tends to be some sort of a balancing act between, money and time.
And we've talked about how, money's important, but the most important currency you have when you're in Disney, it's your time.
Yeah. So, I can see that as a pro. Now, for someone who comes more frequently, and for you, it doesn't really make sense, like locals or people who come, they're DVC members, they come every year or multiple times a year. You're not going to go and pay to ride Rise every single time. The question might be then, okay, well, do you wait standby ever for Rise? If it tends to be like a 2-hour line, or are you getting boxed out of riding those headliner attractions because now the standby is going to be very long, and then people are paying for like that front of line kind of access.
Well, and with Rise, standby isn't even an option right now.
Not now, but yeah. I'm just saying, if it is in the future somewhat like this, I don't know.
Do you think they're ever going to actually open the standby line for Rise?
I don't know. I guess it really depends.
That standby takes up a ton of real estate too.
Yeah. It really depends on what this Disney Genie app ends up looking like. Is it going to be kind of like everything's virtual? You go in the app, tell it everything you want to do that day, and then it plans out your day for you, and you have to arrive in those windows or whatever. Or is it going to be like what we've described in this example, Because if so, then maybe they do, and then I don't know. It's so hard to say.
Mm-hmm. So I hit the hard-hitting questions.
I know. Mm-hmm. That's why you are a professional.
I are a journalist.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, like you said, I do see pros and cons of this entire situation, and I totally. Much like the conversation we had last week, if you're staying at a deluxe, should you get more perks? I can 1,000% see why this rubs some people the wrong way. And I get it. I really do.
Yeah, because because you don't have the, financial situation of somebody who, can go stay at the Contemporary on like club level, does that mean you shouldn't get as good of an experience in the parks? And I think we could all go back to like, the whole thing when Walt Disney built Disneyland, the idea was he thought no matter who you are, no matter what age you were, no matter what financial background you had, you should all be able to come have a nice day in the family with your family in the park. So, we're getting kind of far afield from that idea. The more you go to these like plus pay to play kind of options, I'm really glad we're having a conversation about the prices of Disney, and it took us over an hour for one of us to break out. Well, Walt's vision was. I'm not trying to say what Walt would want today, because Walt was a businessman, and I think at the end of the day, at the end of the day, he may have been totally on board with this idea. It's because if you could say, well, people can still do it, they'll just have to wait. Whereas, you're giving people the option to pay, and maybe he would have been fine with that. Like
you said, Disney isn't it costs money to go to Disney, like a lot of money to go to Disney.
Yeah, more and more every year.
You just roll up there and be like, all right, it's me, my wife, and my two kids. Here's $80. Oh, look at that. We get change back, and we can go spend it in the parks. It's like, no, you're really going to have to save up your money.
Yeah. One flip side to that conversation might be that, well, when Disneyland opened, you had to buy ticket books to ride the rides.
That is true.
So you could only ride them if you had a ticket for it, and if you wanted to go again, you had to go buy more e-tickets. So, I don't know. Guys, we're amateur podcasters here. We're not going to solve this in this particular podcast episode, but I guess, and I don't want to say if someone is like in total support of this, fine. If you're totally against it, like Landon said, I totally get it. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be real interesting, and I guess it'll give us a lot to talk about as this news starts coming out. It's going to keep us in the podcasting business. And all the books are going to have to be rewritten about how you tour the parks. I think it's
I hadn't even thought. Well, and I feel like we're going to know something sooner rather than later, because again, going back to some of the resorts opening, that October 1st date is looming, and it's looming heavy for a lot of, in my opinion, news pieces. Stuff is going to happen ahead of the 50th anniversary kickoff.
Yeah.
Like if we were viewing this as a TV series, October 1st is the season premiere. October 1st is the kickoff for the new season, the new series. So keep plugged in. Stay listening to this podcast, because I have a feeling we're going to know what's coming down the pike probably here 4-6 weeks.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think news is going to start happening pretty soon. And we don't break news around here, but we sure love to talk about it. And you can hear us, waffle and him and haw over all these sorts of things, unless it's barges, in which I have a specific opinion.
And boy, does he.
So, keep your eyes on those, those websites. Make sure that you are like, you see these social media, the headlines, the clickbaity type attention grabbing headlines that they're going to put out there, and balance that out, because I think that as we approach this, whatever is imminent is going to happen, I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of different takes on it, and you got to form your own opinion on how you feel, and does it work for you, and we're certainly going to try to look at it from all angles, and then also give you advice on how we think you can navigate it as we start to learn about it. So that's what we'll be doing here.
We're going to give you our news and our opinion fair and, but wait, no,
No.
we're not doing that. Oop, oop. And also on the news source, maybe choose your news source wisely, because some of them want to be the sensationalist. Some of them just want the clicks from those clickbaity headlines. So I will also give that piece of advice, not only in the Disney bubble, but also in the world in general.
Absolutely. And if you are a person who chooses to get your news here, I mean, because some people, I guess, do. I hope that we do it the right way, and it's all peas and carrots for you, because we want to make things. We want to present. I mean, yeah, we got opinions, and we're going to share them. But at the end of the day, we know that we're not right about everything. Although sometimes I feel like I'm right about everything, but I know I'm not. I don't know.
I heard if it's on a podcast, it has to be true.
And like I like to say, when you're really fans of something, you're allowed to criticize it, because at the end of the day, we love Walt Disney World, and we're going to continue to go. You know we will. So
just go back to our Boo Bash conversation.
Exactly. That's a prime example. They got us by the short hairs, and we know it, and they know it. So,
bring money.
All right, we're gonna wrap this one up for today. All news today, but a lot to talk about, a lot to digest. So, in the meantime, keep your eyes on the socials. You can follow us. We're at Morning Monorail on Twitter. Monday Morning Monorail at Gmail is still the email, but on Facebook, we're the Morning Monorail family group. You can join us there. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, where I'm sharing all sorts of interesting stories, and I'll be sharing some slow-mo Animal Kingdom videos on the Twitter.
You went heavy on the slow-mo.
Oh, I've got several more that I haven't shared yet.
I was going through your social. It's like, good Lord, did John Woo take over this account yesterday?
Oh, I wish I had some of the macaws flying out of the...
that would have been awesome.
Yeah, through the waterfall. That would have been pretty cool.
You're just carrying a macaw with you. Sir, is there any reason you have a bird? I'm doing it for the social.
Exactly. Doing it for the gram. And don't forget, we do have a Patreon, and you can join for all the bonus content. Landon and I are wrapping up now, and we're going to record another episode right after this, specifically for the Patreon. Inspired by the Patreon, and if you're interested to know what that is, I'll give you a little hint here. This is something we would never talk about on the normal show, because this is crazy. But we got lunatics in the Patreon, and that's fine. We love them all. We're going to be talking about the tastiest Disney characters. And that means not tasty they're
so cute, I just want to eat them all up.
Exactly.
No.
It's more like, what would you want to grill up and have as a meal if you were in Batu and they decided to get even more eclectic with their...
Some of y'all have issues.
Yeah. Including us, because we participated in it.
Yeah, we're going to be the ones to answer this daggone question.
So check us out. tpublic.com/Morning Monorail. Look for Morning Monorail on TeePublic. We did launch a new logo for the people that are joining us at Halloween Horror Nights on September 18th.
It's a cool logo.
Yeah, it's very good. Skipper Bob. Shout out to Skipper Bob, who designed that for me, because he knew that I didn't have the skill or the time to do it.
But mostly the skill.
Yeah, but it's great. And I want you to check that out. I think that's all I've got. Landon, how about your social media and other plugs?
LANDOZ, please go follow me, Landon Doan. I'm the best, Landon Doan, not the rest. That's where you can follow me, 280 characters at a time on Twitter. I also appear on The Phil Show on News Talk 98.7 WOKI, radio station locally here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Also streaming 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at newstalk987.com. Also available in the iHeartRadio app and the News Talk 987 app as well. And I've been doing some producing on other shows. And as a matter of fact, this podcast and our patreon.com/Morning Monorail did get a shout out on the Bob Yarborough Show, and that is 10 a.m. to noon, also on News Talk 98.7 WOKI. And so I'm curious to see if we got any interesting reviews this week, because if so, that is totally on me, because I know at least one of my trolls was listening to the show that the Morning Monorail got a plug on. So.
Well, good news. We did get a new review, but it was a 5-star review.
Yay! Okay, I didn't tank our rating.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, this one came from Emily Penner. She said, absolutely the best. 5 stars. This is an amazing podcast for Disney adults, whether you're planning a Disney trip or just trying to cure those Disney blues. This is a great podcast to listen to and a family to join. So... I endorse that 100%.
Thanks, Emily. You're the best. You're my favorite member of the Morning Monorail family.
Yeah. Join us. We are available all the time on the Facebook, the Twitter, everywhere. You can find us. And we would love to see you join that family. But if we don't see you there, we'll see you right back here next Monday. And until then, be nice to cast members and thank them. Thank those cast members. Be nice to each other and thank each other.
What?
Yeah. And, thank you for being a friend, if I can quote Golden Girls.
Thank you for being a friend.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for riding with us today. You can find us on the socials at Morning Monorail. The website is morningmonorail.com and the email is mondaymorningmonorail@gmail.com. You can also call our voicemail 407-917-2144. Thank you so much for being part of the Monorail family. We'll see you next time. Keep them out of your pants. How about that?
Okay. All right. Fine.
As long as you do that.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll have to put this video on my OnlyFans.
But unfortunately, hold on. Wait, Ringo is now scratching the door over here. We were doing so good for so long.
I know.
All
We were
right.
on a roll.
Go on. Ringo's had enough of this bullcrap.
And now I'm sure since the animals are taking over, Zoe will start telling jokes or something here in a second. If she does that, I'm going to bring her on camera. That'll be the best part of the show.
It will be.
What's the deal when you walk me?
I poop outside, you pick it up, you bring it in. What's the deal?
Oh no, that my dog was Jerry Seinfeld.
Every dog is Jerry Seinfeld when you really get
Jerry
down to it.
Seinfeld is my dog.